Here comes my favorite part. Saving the innocent from an awful Valentine's Day weekend. This is the show where Ohio throws down. Ohio is on fire. I am your host, Daniel Diesel. We are live here. We're here in the Student Union. It's Fairborn Day in Ohio, Wright State University. I am live once again for the umpteenth time, hosting the brand new Ohio is on Fire. And of course, I'm on my farewell tour, so this will not last much longer. So I gotta get these in while I can. I gotta save the innocent. I only got a few more times to save the innocent from bad things in this world. But if you're here listening, thank you very much. I love you guys. I am nothing without my listeners. And I got another cool show for you guys tonight, so I think you guys will enjoy it. Of course, later tonight I got, he is the founder of a gaming company here in Dayton, Ohio, Galatune, Adam Alan Wik. He is here tonight, and we're going to talk about Galatune and also the gaming world. Also, I got Stephen Greg This. He is here on the show tonight. He'll be another guest. He is an expert in comic books, graphic novels. He has also been a major contributor to many family organizations here in the Dayton, Ohio area, and he wants to share some things tonight. So he'll be also on the show tonight, Mr. Stephen Greg This. He's actually been a supporter of Wright State for many years, and he has never been. I was talking to him out in the lobby. He has never been inside the studio, like this live studio where I'm doing my show now. So he's very excited to be here. So it's something that he can cross off his bucket list, that he got to appear on the radio of WWSU. So I was able to make that happen for him. So it should be a good night. So two great guests, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. Your lover, watch Making Out by Hendrik Kuto, and let the magic happen. All right. So what else? What other good tips can I give you? Yes, I want you to do, if you go to dinner, do the whip nay nay. You know, just before you eat your lobster dinner, you know, just stand up. You know, I'll do it right now. I'm on camera, so watch this. Watch me whip. Watch me nay nay. Watch me whip. I don't even know how to do it. Watch me nay nay. Watch me. Watch me. So there you go. So do the whip nay nay for your loving lady. I had the CD just fall down just now and it scared me. And I thought I was having an avalanche here in the studio. So, that's funny. So yeah, do that for your loving person, your significant other. Women love one-liners. So what you need to do is speak a random Tom Hanks movie line, pretend like it's your own. Like maybe when you guys are cuddled up on the back seat of a convertible, you'd be like, Houston, we have a problem. Or you can go, life is like a box of chocolates, and then you continue your makeout session. It's a beautiful thing. And the people walking down the hallway, they're looking at me saying, they're probably thinking I'm the craziest guy that's ever existed of all my crazy Valentine talk. So, but it's true. I mean, try it out. I mean, it might just work. And we are back live with Ohio is on Fire. I am the host, Daniel Diesel. Thank you for everyone that's listening tonight. We have a great show for you. But before we get to our guest of the night and more music, you know, I think it's time for everyone's favorite segment. I only got 4 more of these. It's almost over with. This is everyone's favorite segment. Lovers, they go out to movie and then they go out to see the segment. It is OMVP. And that stands for Ohio's Most Valuable Pedestrian. Now this OMVP, it's an award. It's not really an award, but an elaborate shout out to either a person, place, or thing that was in the state of Ohio, or either they lived there or they visited Ohio. They did something good and it got everyone's attention, and it was positive. It was positive, or there was a good moral story to be learned, and it was thanks to that person, place, or thing. So it goes to nouns. I'm all over the place with the OMVPs. They used to be just people. It used to go to just individual people. Then I expanded it to large groups of people. I gave it to animals. I gave it to mascots. I gave it to CEOs. I've given it to drones, and I might just give it to a place. I don't know if I've done that yet, but I'm running out of time if I'm going to do so. So, yes, OMVP, and with most OMVPs, there's a little bit of an article attached to it. So, to explain why this is the OMVP for the episode. But this article from Dayton Daily News, it is Ron Pizza's the originator of Dayton's Pizza Wars. This came out like 2 weeks ago, because today is National Pizza Day. So it is the law that you eat a slice of pizza today. It's one of our little silly holidays that we got going on. But pizza's pretty serious, especially here in Ohio. So let me read this article. It's by Rich Gillette. Long before multiple national chains invaded the Dayton area, Ron Holp, spelled H-O-L-P, was one of the original investigators of the pizza wars in the Miami Valley. The instigators, that's what I meant to say. In fact, it was Holp's bold move to start a competing chain to Cassano's in 1964 and nearly landed him in jail and several months in court fighting over the dough made for his popular pizza restaurants. So this man almost went to jail. But let me read the rest of this. Holp, who is now 83 years old and still opening the door to his Miamisburg restaurant at 6 in the morning, 7 days a week, and let's see, he famously started his pizza making shop, Ron's Pizza, on St. Patrick's Day of 1964. What's not so well known is that Holp operated Cassano's located from 1960 to 1964 in Miamisburg at the same time that Marion Glass, the legendary founder of Marion's Pizza, operated a franchise for Vic Cassano Sr., the original owner of the popular Dayton pizza place. The first Christmas Holp operated Cassano's, Vic Cassano Sr. stopped by his house and gave him a bottle of ancient aged whiskey and a punch bowl to his wife. And here's a quote, "I still drink that today. Vic was the person who introduced it to me," Holp said. That friendly relationship would become strained 3 years later. This is where it picks up. Really long article, so I think I'm going to read 3 more paragraphs, and I'll get on with the OMVP stuff. Knowing that her husband wanted to open his own place, Holp's late wife, Abby, worked for months to perfect a dough recipe that was almost identical to the Cassano's variety. When Abby perfected it, Holp opened his Ron's Pizza while still operating Cassano's franchise. And that's when trouble began for a long-time Miamisburg business owner. Soon after the opening, a friend came to his store and told Holp the rumor spreading around Dayton was an arrest warrant had been issued for him. He wasn't arrested, but the sheriff did talk to him about his new store and the pizzas it was making. Vic was pretty upset about what I had started, Holp said. The dough Abby made was so close to the Cassano's variety that Vic Cassano Sr. sued Holp, claiming he was taking Cassano's dough and using it in the Ron's restaurant. In court, Holp won the case, but the judge ordered him to continue to operate his Cassano's franchise for another year before he could sell it. Alright, and this is a quote from Holp. "It was pretty intense. The headline in the newspaper was Pizza Wars at that time. I remember sitting in that courtroom and sitting across from Vic and Marion. Following the trial, Glass went to business for himself and started Marion's Pizza on Patterson Road in Dayton. Holp said Glass wanted him to sell his dough for Marion's crust. And Holp said, I told him I didn't want to get sued again, but I had Abby show him how to make the dough." So, there's that. You can read the rest of the article at mydaytondailynews.com. Really long article. Ron, I'll read this one, I guess. Ron's employs about 50 employees. 3 of Holp's 4 children, Abby, Paul, and John, work in the business. His son Tim works in the restaurant business in Alabama. At one point, Ron's Pizza had 150 employees during its peak. And that's what makes Ron himself an original Miamisburg icon. And here's one final quote in the article. "He has been great for our town," said Jack Sperry, owner of the Hamburger Wagon in Miamisburg. So there you have it. So you can look up a picture of Ron's Pizza. There's people making it. I'm going to show, I got my camera. There's people making the pizza. It's beautiful. I'm not in Miamisburg that often, so I don't think I've ever had Ron's Pizza. Maybe my mom has, maybe my grandparents. I'll have to ask them. But let me tell you something. This Ron, he manned up and he had a vision. And he went with that vision, even that meant upsetting some people. And he's still alive today at age 83, and he still makes money off Ron's Pizza, and he's amazing. So I tell you what, Ron Holp, you broke into the pizza business over 50 years ago. You ticked off a lot of people, including the original Casano owner, Vic Casano Sr. You ticked him off, and he wanted to kick you in the gonads. But Ron, you also wound up marrying a beautiful woman, and you had 4 children with that beautiful woman. And Ron, you're still in business with your Ron's Pizza to this day, and today is National Pizza Day, so you need to salute yourself. I got an invisible slice. I got an invisible slice of pizza in my hand. I toast to you, Ron Holp, because you, sir, for this episode, are MVP. That stands for Ohio's most valuable pedestrian. Ooh, ah. I'm with my first guest of the night. He is the founder of Galatune Games, which is based out of Centerville, Ohio. He's here with me. It is Adam Alan Wik. Say hello, sir.
Hey, good to see you.
Good seeing you, yes. So, for those at home that don't know, what is the Galatune Gaming Company all about?
Alright, well, Galatune is really about telling a story. Galatune is building up a brand where we're creating this fantasy universe. I tell people think of like a fairy tale in space. You combine elements of serious sci-fi with elements of comic books, anime, and give it kind of a Disney-esque presentation. Basically, we're going to be telling this fantasy story across a couple different platforms, starting with tabletop gaming and card games, and eventually ramping up through a comic book series, video game series, hopefully full-fledged anime someday.
Wow, you guys are shooting big with this. Now, what was your favorite? Because what I'm familiar with is the card game, which we did 3 months ago. Because I am the president of the Comic Book League, and we spent a night playing this game, the Galatune card game. So let me ask, were you a big fan of card games when you were younger?
Oh yeah, definitely.
What's your favorite?
Growing up, I was that golden age where Pokemon kind of came out for the first time.
Yeah.
So playing Pokemon games, Yu-Gi-Oh, of course, video games, every kind I could get my hand on. Kind of where part of this came from, though, is I had a big love for those games, but not a lot of money. So me and my friends would sit around and kind of make our own games when summers off when we were about 10 years old or so. Actually, this game has kind of been evolving ever since I was 10. It's kind of my great masterpiece here.
Absolutely. Now, when did you get the idea of starting your own company, such as Galatune?
Well, you know what? Really, it was Right State that kind of helped make this opportunity something I could actually pursue. I've been playing the game with friends and family all my life, and saying, "Oh, you gotta take it to market somewhere." How I didn't really know how to make that happen. But then Right State's got this competition coming up that I'm a part in called Right Venture. It's essentially like our version of Shark Tank, where we get our student entrepreneurs up on stage in front of some investors and make our pitch, work on a business plan. And if it works out, we actually get to take it to market.
Well, this I never heard of. Like, is this an event that takes place once a year? How does Right Venture work?
Yeah, well, this Right Venture, this is actually our second year doing it. It's hosted by the College of Business, but it's open up to any Right State student.
Okay.
It's actually a bit friendlier than Shark Tank because instead of just getting up on stage and making your pitch, you actually work with a small business development center here for like 2 months. You get a business partner to help you work through your business plan. So really the goal of it is to get you from being a student to being a full-fledged entrepreneur, so by the time you hit that stage, you're ready. So the competition is going on now. We're working on our plans.
Okay.
And then on March 29th at 2 o'clock in the Apollo Room area in Student Union, that'll be our live on-stage competition. We open up for the public to come check that out.
Wow, I didn't know about this. I'll have to remember that, see if I can check that event out. But another question about Right Ventures. So when does it begin? Like, does it begin in the fall? Like, how's the schedule work out?
The process starts in December, just before the students leave for break, and you just submit a real quick, like, one paragraph, what's your dream for starting your company.
Okay.
Then when you get back from break, if they like your idea, the Small Business Development Center works with you and helps you along that process of developing into a full plan.
And do they invest money if they like it enough?
Well, see, that's a little weird too. It's not quite like Shark Tank where the investors are selling you you're selling your equity for money.
Yeah.
You actually get to keep all of your business, but the winner gets a loan. And I know loan's a dirty word for some students, but if you put it into perspective with the industry, what it is now, to get a loan to a student who has no business background is incredible.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I mean, you're not selling any equity, so you own this thing completely.
All right. Oh, that is a little bit better than Shark Tank then. It's the percentage thing they can play. If you could grow bigger, that might play a part later maybe. But all right. Well, I was curious. I didn't know about Right Venture. I learned something. But so I want to know now this Galatune game. I really enjoyed it when I played it. I read that each player picks a character, and this character has like all sorts of different powers. Like I think 7 or 6 different powers, and there's a life bar. Depends on how much damage you can take.
Yeah. The basic gist of it is I have all these characters and cards that are set into this universe, and if you get excited about the universe, you can look into their stories and get excited about that.
Yes.
Or you can just enjoy it for a game as what it is. You choose one of these anime, comic book inspired heroes, and you and a group of like 5 people all get together in this battlefield and attack each other simultaneously.
Yes.
Gets a little crazy. Most battle games, you are very you think really slow and careful and take your turn one at a time. In this one, it's a different sort of strategy where you have to think on your feet and react and have this group dynamic of everyone attacking at once.
Yes, that's true. Now, I don't play that many card games, but I always figured that, like I've heard of Pokemon and Dungeons and Dragons, it seems like one person goes at a time. But in this, I remember all 3. In the game I played, it was me and 2 other people. All 3 of us went at one time. And that was wild. So do you know of any other game that does that?
I know of a couple who experiment with things like it, and I don't want to jinx it, but in my market research, I think we got a pretty unique formula here that people have been real excited about.
I think so. I think you might be onto something. It's fast paced and it's quite excellent. But I want to know how many characters are in the Galatune card game or the universe in general.
Well, the universe is going to be huge. We're talking several comics, different story arcs. I mean, sky's the limit on that.
All right.
The starter deck, though, that I'm hoping to have ready for market sales in time for the holiday season this year, being pretty aggressive with that. It'll come with everything you need for a group of 5 people to play together at once. Mm-hmm. It'll have 12 different characters to choose from, all very unique characters, very different play styles. Also comes with a deck of 100 cards, and something I really love, a lot of beautiful art in this, no duplicate cards. I know I've backed a couple Kickstarters, and you wait a year for it, and you finally get it. Oh, a pack of 100 cards, maybe 5 different pieces of art. No, this is 100 unique, beautiful pieces of anime art.
Yes, and it looked nice, because I remember looking at the... So I want to ask you, I don't know if you told me this previously, but the artwork of the monsters and the wizards, who did the artwork?
So the artist I'm working with is an independent artist who's really kind of undiscovered. She works and does great anime work. I'd say it's as good as any commercial grade anime you see on the best television networks out there. But this girl's doing it as a hobby. She's trying to get recognized. So it's kind of a first for me and her. If the game takes off, I'm hoping to get her more and more involved in the company and hopefully get her the recognition she deserves. Absolutely.
Well, I hope that works out for you and her on that end. Now, I understand you had a Kickstarter for Galatune. What was the Kickstarter all about?
Well, it's a part of the market. It's a part of the marketing business plan we're working on now. You know, Kickstarter is awesome. It breaks down barriers and helps you get into the industry, but it's not magical. I don't want to rush into a Kickstarter just yet. We have plans to do it somewhere around June, July. What's key is I want to make sure we build up a good social following first, that we have that fan base who's willing to help support us through a Kickstarter.
Absolutely.
So right now we're hitting up a bunch of local conventions, get your chance to demo the game, and hopefully we'll have enough fans to see us through and make a Kickstarter successful.
All right, now what are the goals for the Galatune company this year that you can think of?
Well, we're moving blazing fast. We're expecting all the artwork and cars to be completed or around September or sooner. Hopefully, we win this Right Venture competition coming up in March to get us some basic funding.
That'd be big.
Hit our different conventions throughout the year. Open up our Kickstarter June, July, and like I said, we're on track to have sales ready, full sales by Christmas season, and possibly pre-order sales in time for the September area.
Well, absolutely. There is. I want to make an announcement, of sorts. You were talking about the Galatune demos. This Thursday night, you'll be having another one. It's over in Centerville, Ohio, at the Epic Loot Comics and Games venue. And as president of the Comic League, I know you and me talked recently. I've agreed. Our league is agreeing to co-host this event, so I'll actually be there to see this. I don't know if I'll play or not because I already played and I want new people to try it. So, but I'll definitely be there. There'll be a nice 2-hour event, and people can win. I'm trying to set it up where we can win prizes based on the point system we have going at the Comic Book League. So, if you're interested in going to the Galatune demo, well, is there anything that they need to know before this Thursday? Anything that I haven't mentioned?
Absolutely not. It's a really friendly game. I've had kids 13 plus jump in and play. I've had people who are really used to tabletop games. It's a great game for people who haven't really tried anything like it before.
It's for anyone, either you're a rookie or you've been playing card games all your life. It is for, well, that sounds great. And this Thursday night's going to be fun because I will be there along with several of my regular members of the Comic Book League. I know you've came to a few of our meetings. And tabletop's supposed to be coming. And anyone that visits Epic Loot, they will, they'll come in, they'll give it a shot. So it'll be a lot of fun this Thursday. All right, we are back live with Ohio is on Fire. I am the host, Daniel Diesel. I'm still here with Adam Alan Wik, the founder of Galatune. We're also now joined by Mr. Stephen Greg This. He's over here in front of me. And we got a surprise for everyone at home. We're going to play a little game called Truth or Dare. It is a family-friendly version of the classic party game. We'll do it live on the radio, and this will be a lot of fun. And here's how it's going to work. We'll go around twice. I will start by asking Stephen. Stephen will then ask Adam. Adam will ask me, and then we'll reverse. I'll ask Adam, Adam asks Stephen, Stephen will ask me, and it'll be a lot of fun. So, with that, let's get ready for some Truth or Dare. Hello, Stephen.
Hello, how are you, Daniel?
I'm doing good. Thank you for joining us. Now, I got to ask you a question. Truth or dare?
Oh, let's go with truth.
Truth, okay. So I got to think of a question to ask him. All right. What are you most self-conscious about out of anything in this world?
What am I most self-conscious
Yeah, what are you most self-conscious about?
That's a good question. I don't know. What would I be most self-conscious about? Probably my loss of hair. I don't know. I'm not a hat wearer. I don't like to wear hats, and so I'm going bald rather quickly. So I'm very self-conscious about that.
Your hair, okay. Well, that's a good answer. All right.
It's a weak answer.
But no, a lot of people are self-conscious about their hair because you only get one set of hair.
That's right.
All right, so let's continue the game, and Steven's got to now talk to Adam.
So I asked Adam a question?
You got to ask him a question.
What do you want, Adam? Truth or dare?
Truth.
You want truth, right? Yeah.
Do you need any options, or can you think of one?
I think I've got what you had here. I found the website. It's a good question. Can I ask him when's the last time he peed in bed?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I don't. Can I phone a mom?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, make a phone. Yeah.
Oh gosh. No,
make a phone call.
I don't know. I want to say it probably like one of my early New Year's, like back when I don't know, maybe like a 5 years old New Year's party or something.
5 years old is okay. Well, there you go. Well, at least you were still. Most 5-year-olds still pee their pants, so that's normal. Don't worry about. Don't worry about it. All right. Well, good answer. Now it's your turn. You got to ask me a question, Adam.
What's kind of like? Let's see. Truth or dare?
Yes. You asked me truth or dare, and I'm gonna do a dare.
Oh, yeah. Maybe do a dare. Wasn't prepared for dares.
I can give you your if you can't think of any dares, I can think of some options. Okay, here's a list of dares. I'll give you 3 choices. Either it says something about makeup, which there's no makeup in here. I'm thinking we might have markers. I don't even see the markers. I think they knew I was going to play this game, so they took the markers away. Okay, here's 3 choices. Either have me dance with no music on for 30 seconds, try to pretend I'm drinking a glass of water while standing on my hands, or the other option is let the group pose you in an embarrassing position and then take a picture.
How about I dare you to try drinking water while dancing for a minute?
Pretend I'm drinking water while I'm dancing for up to a minute. Okay, well, you need to hold this camera because I'm going to do it. And you got to commentate my actions. All right, people at home, I'm going to entertain everyone. Okay, I'm going to dance and drink water. All right. All right.
He has this too rehearsed.
He's riding a horse.
I'm riding a horse.
He's riding a horse while drinking a glass of
This
water.
is thirsty work. I think he might be dancing in the glass of water now.
Wait, yeah. I spilled the water, now I'm swimming in it. All right, what else can I...
He's got the water aspect down, very fluid.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh man.
What was it, the Macarena?
Yeah, it's
The
Macarena.
Macarena? There you go. You might want to
Oh, yeah, that's my water bottle.
You might want to lay off the water, or when I ask you when's the last time you peed, you have to say tonight.
All right, was that a
my
minute?
That is as much as we want to watch.
All right, there. Well, I did it. Yay. All right. Okay, now we're going to go in reverse. We're going to do this one more time, but it'll be counterclockwise from the original turn. So, Mr. Adam Alan Wik, truth or dare?
After that, I definitely want to do truth.
Oh, man. All right. Well, let me look up a good question. All right. What was the most childish thing that you ever did?
Most childish thing that I ever did.
Yeah, think of something that someone got upset with you for doing.
I think. Too boring. My wife pretty much gets mad at me on like a
Well, there you go. What did your wife get mad at you?
daily basis for taking the stuff she explicitly buys for herself and writes her name on in the fridge.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks like some good. Oh, is that got her name on that? It's fine. It's fine. She'll take something of mine later.
So that's what she. So you buy? Do you buy it and then she writes her name on it?
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, we share everything. But every now and then, like, oh man, I'll splurge. I'll get like she'll get some treat that's special to her and write her name on it. Adam, don't you dare touch this.
And you're the one that bought it. All right. Well, there you go. Now you got to ask Mr. Steven.
Okay, truth or dare?
I'll go with truth, because
Oh.
I can't dance. I can't drink invisible.
Well, that's fine, but there's other
Yeah, give me a
there's
truth
other
question.
tears.
Truth question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So what's kind of a guilty pleasure TV show? Something you're embarrassed to like as much as you do?
Something that I'm embarrassed to like as much as I do. Probably just like any game show. I mean, like Family Feud or Wheel of Fortune. I know they're very simplistic type games, but yeah, just to sit there and watch the mindlessness of it, I think would be a guilty pleasure, because there's really nothing for me to get involved with. I mean, I have no no betting interest. It's not like the Super Bowl or anything. It just really doesn't matter. It's just something you watch and pass the time away. So there you go.
Excellent. All right, let's finish this. You got to ask
truth
me.
Truth or dare? Truth or dare?
Truth.
Really, I thought I was going to say dare.
Well, I did a dare already, so I'll make it even.
What's the scariest dream you've ever had?
Scariest dream? I recall that I was in a car. I think my grandma was driving, but we were in this really weird universe. There was a lot of scary monsters, and it was like the faces were really bloody, like you would see in a horror movie. Like the faces, like you could see like parts of brains, but then she lost control of the car because she was running away from a car that was filled with monsters and people yelling at us. And she was driving really, really fast. And at one point, there was like a brick building. We slammed right into this brick building, and I wake up. It was an electric shock dream. And I don't know if you ever had one of those. I wake up, my whole body is like an electric shock.
Huh.
So, are you guys familiar with that?
No, not at all.
Well, that's what I had. It was so terrifying, it gave me an electric shock.
Huh.
So there you go. That's the only thing I can think of at the time. I think I was probably maybe 12 years old when I had this dream.
Wow.
All right. Well, we did it. We did Truth or Dare. Give ourselves a round of applause. Yay. Truth or Dare. Greatest game ever. All right. Now, we were talking earlier. There's a big event that takes place, I guess that's taken place last several years now. It was back this past November. Raiders Given. Now, Stephen and Adam, you're both at this event. So what happened at Raiders Given that was of importance? That was of interest?
Well, I think, just to go back, I mean, you're correct. The Raiders Giving began back in 2012 when Wright State went from quarters to semesters.
Okay.
And it would be the first time that students would be on campus during the Thanksgiving break.
Yes.
And so we as staff and some faculty included as well, thought we would, make an effort to provide the Thanksgiving meal for students who didn't go home
for
Thanksgiving. So that very first one, we had 48 volunteers and we had 12 students show up. So
excellent.
We had 4 volunteers for every student. I think we cut their food for them, was the joke that we made. But we've grown, and then this year we were at the McLean Gym.
Oh, okay.
Over there at the Nutter Center, and Adam reached out to us. He said, "Hey, I've got this game Galatune. I'd like to come out and to, as part of the activities and events, you'll play it." And so we set up. We give you 2-3 tables, and he was set up most of the day.
Yeah.
And people came out. We had like over 400 people show up to eat the meal. I don't know how many people we had play the game. I was busy running around doing other stuff. You had a good turnout though.
Yeah.
It was great to see. I mean, it's been growing so much every year, and then now it's become, it sounded like it started off really trying to provide meals for the students who are away from their families, to now turning into a thing where we're building a community and having games and activities and getting people involved in Wright State.
Yes.
So I'm glad to be a part of that.
Yeah, it was a good time, and we're glad that we got Wright State people reaching out to us and saying, "Hey, we want to give back, like Adam, back to the community, help us out." We have quite a few alumni come back. We have faculty show up and staff, and we provide the meal. I think they cooked what they say over 200 pounds of turkey.
Wow. So these are the people that you helped out. Is this troubled families that had low income?
No.
Who was getting help?
It's basically it is open to any student on campus that's not going home for the Thanksgiving holiday. I mean, stuff that we didn't. Clearly, we have a lot of the international students that don't know what Thanksgiving holiday is.
All right.
So they're showing up.
They're being introduced to it for first time.
We talked to Dan Bertzos, who's director of resident services, and something we didn't think about. You have a lot of students that live nearby campus, and they live in apartments or they're living in housing, and they're working the Black Friday sales. And so those things, incredibly, they start like 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, so they can't go home for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So they're coming to campus and to eat. We have a lot of graduate students with their families are coming over.
Wow.
And then we also have students that are going home, like say to Chicago or Detroit or Louisville or wherever, and they're like, "Hey, I'm going to stop and get something to eat before I hit the road," which is more than they're welcome to do. I mean, that's what we intended it for. The motto is that no Raider eats alone, and that's what we want. We just the opportunity for people to show up and eat, and have a good time. And with food services closed,
yes,
during the holiday break, I mean, the food options are few and far between. So they can pick up plates and they can take stuff. I mean, we had people carrying out whole pies, so they can have something to eat for the weekend, which is fine. which is
So it was alumni and college students on campus, but
yeah.
was it open to the public though? Like
no.
No.
It as of right now, it is not open to the public.
Okay.
And people have said, would you think about doing that? Because it would be a great marketing event, and I think down the road we could do that.
Okay.
But I think we have to stabilize ourselves.
Yeah.
We've gone 12. We've gone 12, 70, 300, over 400, and when you look at our international student population, it's close to 2,000. So we could figure up to 2,000 people. It would be great if we could open it up to the local community, but right now it's just a little.
Yeah, you get
scary.
Yeah, step by step.
Because I know downtown Dayton does. They do
Yeah.
Thanksgiving dinner. They're serving 10, 15,000 people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we just don't have that type of. We don't have that type. And interestingly enough, we've done the research. Like Adam was talking about doing market research for his game.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State and Wright State are the only two universities that we know of, and Ohio State's confirmed this. We're the only two that do it on Thanksgiving.
Like in Ohio or in all universities?
In the United States.
Wow.
Yeah, so we do. Yeah, now they do it, but their budget is $25,000,
Yeah.
and they feed about 2,500 people.
Man.
And they do it in their student union. They have the Archie Griffin Ballroom. Yeah, I would like to get up to 2,500 people, and I'd like to get up to a budget of 25,000. But
I'm shocked there's only two colleges doing that. I kind of figured there'd be more. Like, of all of the history of this United States and universities, I figured there'd been more people doing so.
You would think that more. You think that more would do it, but but it's tough. It's tough because you got to cover labor costs. I mean, we were lucky. I mean, Chartwell's, they cooked all the food and put it in warmers, and so we didn't have to cover a lot of labor costs on that.
Absolutely. Now, I know I've gotten to know you through you're an expert of comic books. I know my friend Christopher Cowles has talked about you, and I've seen you around various comic book related events. And also you support the Comic Book League. I know you're a member of the Facebook page.
Right.
So I want to know, what's your favorite comic book or / comic book related TV show right now?
Well, it's like we were talking during the break. I think you and I have the same style. I think we have very eclectic reading interests, and so yeah, I'll go to the comic book store and just pick something up that looks interesting, whether the cover or look at the storyline. Right now, I've been reading a collection of the Ant-Man movie came out last year, and been reading a collection of the Ant-Man. There's some of the original Ant-Man comics, coming some of the early, the Silver Age stuff.
Okay.
I'm really fascinated with those. Looking at stuff like that. Always like Iron Man, the new relaunch of Cyborg by DC Comics.
Yeah.
I'm the whole science fiction aspect of that. I really like the Cyborg, the Iron Man. The interaction of human and machine has always been a fascinating read for me. As far as the television shows, I don't get a lot of time to watch like shows. A lot of people say like, "Oh, have you binge watched like Daredevil or Jessica Jones?" Those both sound interesting. I'd love to watch them. I've seen a few episodes of Supergirl, and so far I like what it is. It's not too overly dramatic. Arrow, I've been in off and on watching Arrow, and I really like the take that they're doing. Having Oliver Queen run for mayor.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking about superheroes tend to be vigilantes and do things their own way. Now you have a superhero that has to play by the rules and run and get an election. And then the Flash. The Flash is always fascinating. I haven't had a chance to watch as much of that as I'd like to.
Yeah.
But the whole time travel aspect and Barry Allen coming back, I like that. So. Agent Carter, yes, I think from a historical piece, I think it's interesting, but sad to say, I don't know how far it can go. I don't know. It's not that, I think, appealing in this day and age when you have terrorists. I mean, the World War II genre, I think, is starting to push aside. So.
Okay. Now, of all the comic book related movies that's coming to the big screen this year, is there one that you're really looking forward to the most?
I think just for nostalgia purposes, I think probably the Batman Superman.
Okay.
That's coming out there. I think there's an X-Men coming out. I know Deadpool's coming out
next weekend.
Next weekend, and a lot of people are excited. I don't know. I'm not. and not a big fan of Deadpool. I mean, he's like the anti-hero. And so yeah, not. But yeah, I think the Batman, Superman. But I tend to be more traditionalist when it comes to reading comic books than than my sons. My sons are 17 and 21. So yeah, they would love to go see Deadpool. I'm not. That's just not my type of character.
Yeah, Deadpool's a little bit more mature and violent.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just depends on your style. So
Yeah, and he is the anti-hero. I think of him
Yes.
along the lines of like Punisher, somebody who just takes the law into their own hands and does things their own way, and I like my characters to be a little more traditional.
all right. I want to ask you, what's the next good comic book convention that you plan on attending or at least paying attention to?
I think the Gem City Comic Con coming up here April 2nd and 3rd. I know
Yes.
Jesse Noble always does a fantastic job putting that on. Moving this year, they've got
Yes, it's
some
great.
They moved from the Nutter Center. They're going down to the Dayton Convention Center, downtown Dayton, which I think will be really good for the fans. There'll be a lot of good places to eat around there. I think good convenient parking. A big location, and yeah, I think it's a great convention. I know, again, we were talking off air. I know you're putting together some panels.
I'm trying to, yes.
Yeah, I'm putting together some educational panels. The panels that I work with tend to be, I've got the Dayton Regional STEM School coming in and talking about how they use comic books in history class. The professor here at Wright State, I can't pronounce his name. He did the Golden Legacy comics.
Dr. Okaya.
Yeah, he's going to come and do a session for us as well. And then Chris Pierce teaches down at Middletown High School. He's going to come up and talk as well. A lot of good opportunities for teachers in the area to learn how to use comic books in their classrooms. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, Jesse does a fantastic job. I mean,
Yes, he does.
He brings in some great talent from all over.
Yes.
I mean, you get a lot of the local, and he's also good to the local standbys. I mean, not a lot of celebrities. I mean, he doesn't bring in like the Playboy Playmates and the
It's
rest.
not that big yet.
Well, it's not that big, but I think he's also very dedicated to the comic book fan.
Yeah.
He's a huge comic book fan himself, and he knows the real pleasure is to reading the comics and talking comics, and so that's what he does, as opposed to doing all these little the sideshow attractions that just aren't all that exciting. So that's a good one. That's a very good one coming up here.
Absolutely, and I'll definitely be there, which, in my future episodes, I'll talk more about that because I am hosting a panel for the Saturday edition of Gem City Comic Con. So I'll definitely talk about that in the future. I want to know, you do a lot of work for organizations in the community because we talked about Raiders Given. I know in the past you've done work with Big Brother, Big Sister. But I want to know, how important is the family condition to you, like family and their children?
It's very important. I mean, my father was an orphan and grew up in an orphanage in Chicago during the Great Depression.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess when you grow up with a dad that doesn't have a family, you're really taught the importance of family. So yeah, a lot of the things that I do, like the Raiders Giving, is all about helping out, creating stable places for families, doing things for families. So yeah, so family is very, very important to me, and I think I was taught that at an early age, and so yeah, I do stuff like the Raiders Giving. I also help out with the Friendship Food Pantry here on campus.
Yes.
Which is a food service for students that needs a little extra food each month in their own pantries at home or their apartments, wherever. And so yeah, that's another thing that I work heavily with, is to making sure that we're doing things to solidify those families. Family, yeah, I think family is very important regardless.
Yes.
To me, regardless of how you define it. I think that if the place where kids can be nurtured, they can feel loved and be taken care of, and somebody can help them do their homework.
Yes.
I think that's the importance of family.
Do you think the Miami Valley area and downtown Dayton, or I guess all of Dayton, do you think it's a good place to raise families at the moment?
I think it is. I think it's like any city, you're going to have your issues, but I mean, you've got a lot of schools here. You've got a lot of good schools. You have a lot of activities. I mean, the Five Rivers Metro Park is really redefining the downtown area
Yeah.
with the riverscape, and now they're putting in that whole kayaking thing and the whitewater stuff down there by the I think it's the First Street Bridge. You've got like you've got two good community colleges in Sinclair,
Yeah.
and Clark State. You've got big universities in the University of Dayton and in Wright State. I mean, you've got good athletic teams going on. You got lots of playhouses. You got
Yes.
art institutes. You got museums. So yeah, there's plenty of stuff for people to do here.
Yeah.
I think it's a good place. It's relatively clean. It's really cheap. I was just talking to somebody, and I said, why did you move to Dayton as opposed to where she had been living? She was living somewhere down in Florida. She's like, for the apartment that she had here, just paying several $100s. Down in I think Miami, it was like $7,000. So it's relatively cheap. And it's a fairly safe neighborhood and communities in which to raise families. I think this is a very good area. There's a lot to sell.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like Dayton's got a lot going on for
Yeah,
itself. So that's
it
good to
does.
know. All right. What else is important to you that you like for the radio audience to know? Because we're live, we got a good audience. Is there anything important that you want to share?
I mean, I don't know. I guess we were gonna talk about comic books. I think comic books are very important as an early stage. Again, going back to things I help out on, the comic book classes I've taught, we've collected over 1,000 comic books for Miami Valley Project Read.
Yeah.
And the comic books using for literacy is probably one of their biggest sellers. They
Yeah.
said they've had over 900 participants. And I think promoting literacy is another big issue for me, and I think comic books are a great way to do that because as people are reading comic books, whether it be a child, a teen, or an adult, they can look and they can see the pictures, and I think that generates an interest. But as well as I do, reading comic books, I think the power of the comic book is in between panels, trying to figure out what's going to happen next, or before you
Yes.
turn the page. And I think that helps promote literacy. And then I see you sitting there looking at your computer screen, and you think of what computer screens are. They're nothing more than a comic book panel.
Yeah.
You have text and you have images, and you got to try to figure out what's going on, and you click next, and
Yes.
you go on to that. So I think literacy is a huge issue for me. I think people need to know how to read,
Yeah.
how to write, and function at a good level, and then go on and get an education, a high school education.
I agree. Yes.
And doing all kinds of stuff. And I think if they do go to college, like I always tell my students when I do the comic book and culture class, they're like, "Why should we take it?" I said, "Because you need to take one fun class
Yeah.
when you're in college. Like we were talking earlier about the class that Wright State offers here on doing stand-up comedy.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think there's any academic curriculum anywhere that would make that a required course. But people should
Not
do
many.
But people should do that because it's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun, to get up there and stand and do comedy
Yeah.
for 5 minutes, and to keep an audience entertained and to make them laugh. Who was it? The great Harold Ramis once said it's easy to make anybody cry
Yeah.
because it's very, very hard to make people laugh because what is it that causes people to laugh? Why can you tell this joke here and in the next place it doesn't work? So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, those are really good words there. We're almost done, Stephen. We're almost done. This has been an excellent interview. I got to know, Valentine's, it's this weekend. What are your plans for Valentine's Day?
I saw that question. I'm like, it's interesting. My wife and I really don't have anything planned. It's probably more of who I am. I don't like to go out a lot.
Okay.
We've been married. We've been married 30 years, and so. But our youngest son will be 18 on February 16th.
Okay.
So we tend to wrap the Valentine's Day is nice, but it's very commercial.
Okay.
It's very commercial. I think people need to celebrate, the more of the special days, like your first date, you know, your first time you went out together, first time you met. I think celebrate around those, because I think those aren't the commercial holidays. Those are the times that are most meaningful to you and whoever your significant other is. You know, so like for us, our wedding anniversary, October 5th. Those are the important dates. You know, March 17th, our first date. Those are the important dates as opposed to the Valentine's. Plus, it's so expensive and crowded, you know.
Yes, it can be.
You know, I'll go in like the first week of January to our florist.
Yeah.
And they'll say, I want to order a dozen roses for my wife for Valentine's Day. And they're like, that'll be $80. I said, but I'm ordering now. They're like, we know, but you have to pay the going rate for that week. So it's like, okay, so let's try to do something else.
Yeah.
And do something low key. So yeah, it's.
Yeah, it can be like a competition out there. Everyone wants to take their girlfriend and impress them.
Yeah, it can
buy
be
that steak dinner.
Yeah, and
I get it.
Yeah, and then this year, that's going to be on a holiday.
Okay.
It's going to be tough, and and I also I feel sorry too for the people who work as servers, because you know them and I know them. A lot of them are college students.
Yes.
And they would like they appreciate the money, but they'd also like to be with their loved one on that holiday. So it's like, why go?
I can relate. Yeah, I can feel now that I'm a college student myself. I can feel their pain sometime.
So yeah, but So I don't really have a lot of plans for Valentine's Day. And so
that's fine.
Be a quiet Sunday night at home.
well, listen, people at home, you can visit Stephen Greg This. He's got Facebook, facebook.com/Stephen.this. So you can visit him there, and whenever he's involved in the community or he has something he wants to talk about, you can visit him. He'll post pictures. In any comic book conventions, he will post them. And of course, the next big one he'll be at will be Gem City Comic Con, Saturday, April 2nd and Sunday, April 3rd. So Stephen, it's been a pleasure. I've always wanted you on my show.
Enjoyed being on.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, have a safe drive home. It's snowy out there.
Yes, it is.
All right, so that was Stephen Greg This. And what does it mean to love somebody? I believe a lot of people get confused on what it means to love. I think even those that get married, I think there's a stereotype in the love game, if you will. I think the stereotype is anything you can do, I can do better, in which people want to marry someone, like if they thought they were done wrong when they were a kid, or maybe they just have a big ego. I think it's important to them that they have a good wife, because other words, they see someone else, like they have a strong hatred for someone else. Like maybe there's a woman they think that's unattractive. They'll see that and be like, there's no way in heck I can never date that woman. Some poor bastard's going to wind up with that ugly woman, and there's no way I can never be with that lady. I need someone who's pretty. I need someone who looks like a supermodel. Someone who looks like Marissa Miller. And there's no exception. So it tends to be a game. And I think maybe that's on the minds of people in the dating game, because I've done singles dances. I made it sound shallow, but there are a lot of people, I would say the majority, I think they want to go to the highest bidder. And that's why the divorce rate is so high nowadays. Since the beginning of this century, the year 2000, I believe people that got married, anyone that's gotten married during the 21st century, their marriage lasts less than 5 years. I believe the number I believe is 58% of those couples, they've been married less than 5 years for those that have gotten married during this century. And that's sad, because it used to be opposite. Used to, the divorce rate was very low. People stayed together much longer. Like 80% of couples were together for at least 20 years. Now it's the other way around. There is a growing rate of short marriages by young couples. You know what? I think I will direct this to the young adult, because this doesn't seem to be a problem with the older generation. Because I know a lot of old couples that have been together since the 60s. They've always been together. It's very rare I met someone that wound up getting divorced and to meet someone else, or they just moved on. They didn't want to talk to anyone else. More often than not, a couple stay together, but that's not true here with us millennials. I guess I'm a millennial. I can't even say the word. People, young adults that became young adults during the Y2K years, if you will. It's very fast paced. I want it to be the best, and I want it to be right now. I think that's a bad idea in loving someone. To me, to love someone, understand who you are as a person. What activities do you enjoy? What do you enjoy at the moment? Realize that that could change 5 years from now. And what female likes the same things you like? Like, is there a female version of yourself? Is there someone who likes the same football team, baseball team? Do they like to go to math class? Do they like the same colors? Do they have the same political views? Do they think Donald Trump is a big idiot who's going to destroy the country once he becomes president this November? What do they think of politics? What foods do they like? I say you should find a female version of yourself, because I think the other way around, when you are when you treat it as a game, like, let me get some sexy hot model, not really know her, let me have sex with this hot woman, and you don't really know her, that can lead to disaster, because that's what I think leads to fighting, that leads to early divorce, which has been a problem for the last 20 years, very high rate of divorce. And there's a lot of people that really don't know what love is. I'll probably sound corny, but I'll think of another example. One of my favorite, I guess, romantic comedies, that romantic comedy genre, would be You Got Mail. It was that movie with Tom Hanks, Dave Chappelle, and it starred Meg Ryan. She was the female hero of the movie. But throughout the movie, you know, the Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks characters, they were business owners. They're competing against each other. They own bookstores. And whenever they bumped into each other, they just thought what they disliked about each other. And then they were focused on what they really, because they both had significant partners to get throughout most of the movie. And they had an idea of what they thought what love was. I guess at the time you would think they'd be the least likely to get together at the end of all this. Like, there'd be no way they could ever date. But then things happened. It's only a movie, I know. But there was a line when the Tom Hanks character was talking to his dad in that movie. He was saying he never met someone that filled his heart with joy. So as in say that anyone he's ever married, it was just all for benefits. It was just, well, this woman's hot. She hasn't ticked me off yet, so let's just go to dinner, let's have sex, and maybe have a few babies. And, of course, the guy, the Tom Hanks' dad, I guess he divorced every woman he ever been with. Or they left him for someone else. And that's probably not far off from real life. People get divorced 3 or 4 times before they figure it out. And my final advice on this is that play it safe. Play it safe for your own sake. You want a person that can be your best friend. Someone that will deal with you through the hard times. You want someone that can forgive you. Like, if you say something really stupid at a dinner table, they can forgive you. They know who you are. You can tell them that you're sorry. They'll look into your eyes and they'll forgive you. And continue to have you in their life. Someone that will grow old with you and take care of you when you grow old and sick and can't do nothing for yourself anymore. I believe that's true love. And that's what I want for all of you that's listening right now. So with that, I'm going to play my last song. Next Tuesday night, I got Cali Muse. I got the Comic Book League and some surprise guests. Until then, Dane, Ohio, WWSU 106.9 FM. That's the way it is.